I would like to present
Oh, it's the man
a
himself.
thought, something to think about. Isn't it interesting that beef, cattle, the steaks, we like to eat those things. In America, we really love our steak. We love our burgers, and they're trying to push this fake meat on us. And now they shifted, they inverted the food pyramid. So now they're trying to push eat more meat, eat more meat, eat more meat at a time when mRNA is being injected in a lot of the meats in our country. All of a sudden, they're reporting that there's cures for every cancer across the board. How are you going to get that cure? By syringe.
Yeah, that's why I recommend eating halal meat. It's they drain all the blood out of the meat before serving it to you, so it's just more cleaner
Yeah,
meat, you know.
but you're not going to drain mRNA. The point what I'm saying is, can you imagine just for a moment if they have made and they've been doing lots of progress in trying to get this into our food because a lot of people like me, pure blood, I'm not going to take any of their conclusions. I'm anti-vax. I've been anti-vax since my youngest was born. They shot him up with something when he came out. Immediately, blood pressure crashed. He turned purple, and he got something of a learning disability. And he's not retarded as you would call it today. He's not slow, but he's definitely different.
On a spectrum.
Different.
We would refer to that as on the spectrum today, at least within my child's
Yes.
classroom of some form.
Yes. And I just see that all of a sudden, you know, all of a sudden now, eat lots of meat. Eat lots of meat. Of course, you would want them to eating lots of meat. If now you are putting this stuff in that people don't want to take it for the jab, and for those that don't get it that way, we got cures for cancer. This is the cure for cancer. Here's the cure for cancer. Every cancer gets a cure all inside of 9 days. In 9 days, every form of major cause of death in terms of cancer, rectal cancer, stomach cancer, skin cancer, pancreatic cancer. My grandfather passed away of pancreatic cancer. I watched this big, strong Navy man, my dad in my eyes. I watched him get consumed by this, literally eaten down to a skeleton, talking to people that weren't even in the room. Totally just consumed. I'm convinced that if he would have been told by his doctors to get off of carbs, take the sugar out of everything, he could have regulated his blood sugar. His blood pressure would have regulated. His inflammation in his heart would have settled down. And he probably would have lived longer. He certainly would have died. And I think that fenbendazole and ivermectin, together with a couple other natural things, could have purged his body of what was actually occurring in his pancreas. I am not convinced. Okay, I've watched several people in my family on both sides go through chemotherapy. There's never been a documented case of chemo curing anybody. It's just you're paying lots of money as you're leaving. It's a death tax. And the only time that you heal up is because your body and the grace of God has came through and said, okay, we're going to overcome it. Nutrition, relaxation, not being scared to death, which would I can imagine would be very hard in that situation. But I hear what you guys are talking about. It was neat to hear the shift from markets to tinfoil hat stuff. So I usually spend my weekends listening to channels that delve into those things, and just like I listen to it as white noise in the background, walking around the house, doing what I'm doing. And I heard you guys shift to that, and I wanted to kind of like ask you, have you noticed how they have shifted from don't eat so many meats to now eat a high protein diet, eat lots of meats? And I think that's actually good. If they're not doing anything to our meats, we should be doing those things. Have real raw butter. Raw butter is good for you.
Yeah.
Like you have to have these things, and it helps your body. It doesn't cause inflammation like they tell you, and it actually builds we need it. Like we need it.
And I know that term, Michael, because my mother has advanced Alzheimer's, and we had to follow a dietary protocol called the James Bredesen protocol, which was a naturopathic approach towards her dementia and Alzheimer's. Anyway, what you're doing from brain and brain health with a paleo ketogenic diet is consuming high fats and high proteins, to your point. And you're buying foods from a farm stand. And from a farm stand, from a farmer is where we should be buying our foods, not from a corporate grocery store, right?
Exactly. If you're fortunate enough to live around someone that raises cattle and sells it to the general area where they're at, that's the best thing you can do is to procure that. Get yourself a cow or two, put it in a freezer. You know, it might cost a little bit to have them butcher it all up or whatever. If you can do it yourself, you know, all the better. But getting fresh meat, fresh beef that's been, you know, kept from any kind of nonsense and Frankenstein experiments and whatnot. You know, that's the premium thing. I mean, look at beef prices. You know, in 2020, behind the paywall, I was telling all my students, I was like, you know, we're watching something that's very sinister. Like it's bad. Like it's really, really bad. And what you really don't realize is there's a lot of, it's going to sound fringe, I understand, but you'll see it eventually. There's a lot of governments that are storing food, medicine, things that, you know, if we were to go in the store and have a shopping cart full of it, people would look at you and be like, look at this guy. He's one of those doomsday preppers. But they're literally taking tractor trailers, dozens and dozens an hour in these mountains, and they're storing these things. And they've been doing it for a long time. What are they preparing for? You ever wonder, like, what are they doing that for? What's going on down there? And why
I would
is
like
it?
to ask a question.
Go ahead, go. I'm not saying I know the answer,
So
but
sorry to interrupt, Michael. No, not at
no,
all,
go
man.
ahead.
And I respect everything you guys are saying, and I consider you all to be very smart people. So my question, which I have friends that I'm not from here. I'm from Cuba. You know, we don't talk about conspiracy theories as much as I've seen it here in the U.S. And I have friends that they have presented a lot of ideas to me that then I see them, later on as reality. But my question is always, why would they want to kill us all? Why would they want us all to be unhealthy in that way? I'm very curious about that.
Have you been paying attention to the news the last couple weeks?
I don't watch news at all. I
What's
do.
what's the conversation around the world right now?
Not sure.
Pedophilia
Right.
rings,
Yes.
death
Yes.
cults.
Right.
They're outed right now. Everybody knows it. See, they're not afraid. Okay, they're not afraid of people not voting them in. That's not what they're afraid of. They're afraid of the people that have the privilege of our Second Amendment and those that may live in a country that doesn't have it, but they still have those tools. And they're afraid that people are going to say, you know what? I know where that guy is right now. I know where that person's at right now. And people are going to get to the point when they see nothing's happening. There's a guy in the office that got in that office. He's going to clean up everything. He's going to release the Epstein list. He's going to go after Hillary. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. And I told everybody. And I had people quitting because they were Trumpers for life. Why is this guy now the informant? He's the informant. He has all the evidence behind those black redactions, the names. And he's saying, we need to move on. We need to move on, man. We got to look at something else, the economy, healthcare. What was the point of being an informant back then if you were outing this guy? And now you're in the highest seat on this planet to get it done. And you're saying there's not going to be any prosecutions. No one's going to get prosecuted. No one's going to jail for this. No one's doing any of that stuff. We need to sweep it under the rug and just pretend it didn't happen. It's a hoax. Why are other countries arresting people? And why are there resignations in people doing high seat responsibility jobs that were mentioned in these files? Why are they moving and shaking in other countries? But we're up here listening to this joker talk about how we need to sweep it under the rug.
It's a hoax. It's a
What's a hoax?
Democrat hoax, right? No, that's his
What
words,
is?
not mine, Michael,
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah, 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 yeah.
That's his
Yeah.
words, right? Yet simultaneously being the informant that was very aware. So why wasn't there more done if he knew about some of these events that have occurred inside these documents? Because I would speculate he had to have knowledge, right, of said events or an idea. And now, granted, you would argue that the man is dead, but why? It's
Who's
so
dead?
flagrant in our face.
Who's dead?
You guys, wait.
Hey,
Who,
I'm sorry, but
He's not dead.
who's dead? Who are we talking about?
He was
Well,
implying
no,
that
I'm
that
not
team
even
is
think
dead.
he's dead, Michael. I'm just saying, right?
Who?
We're showing
Who?
all these things. Epstein,
Epstein.
Yeah, he ain't dead.
right?
Not in
Holla,
prison
brother.
either.
Yeah.
Ghislaine's not in prison, and they're sipping, laughing at everybody. Okay, and nothing's going to happen to them.
Do you think,
Nothing
Michael,
is going to happen to them.
since we're kind of like beating around on this one a little bit, I've been chewing on this, right? And when they're releasing these documents and why, and I believe they serve a purpose, and I cannot figure out what it is yet, um, because the administration that's being implicated and involved, right? It's our current administration. I would argue that multiple previous administrations are going to be implicated at some point, right? But this one is the one that is acting in power right now. And I believe this serves a purpose for something coming ahead, and I can't wrap my head around it. My brain tells me that this is a catalyst. This is my thinking on what this is causing, that this is going to cause an impeachment process to come forward for Trump. And yet, potentially, that we're going to be put into a wartime process. We'll potentially get that false flag event to catalyze a war, right? So there'll be Congress behind it. You'll have the president calling for it, and that he's going to want to extend his terms. I don't know if that's allowed, right? I don't know if this is possible, but I just have been trying to speculate why they're dropping these documents. They're very damning. They know they were damning. We know they were damning. Everybody knows. So why are they
It's because they
releasing
have
it?
to, though.
Do you think they
It's
have to?
disclosure.
Do you really think that?
I honestly think it's disclosure. You're going to hear more about deep underground military bases. You're going to hear more about where and how they've been allocating the trillions of dollars that have gone missing over the years. Over my personal lifetime, there's been trillions of dollars that continually have been audited and gone missing year after year within the government. So, I mean, within Michael's lifetime, they debased the dollar, and all of a sudden fiat currency can be anything that you want it to be, and you can start printing dollars to be and become whatever you want. So the powers that be have an unbridled, unlimited amount of power, and they've been utilizing it. And we're in an information world where it's being checked, but part of that unbridled Luciferian evil, it's putting it in your face and you acknowledging it. That's what gives them further power. So all of this is simple disclosure, in my personal opinion. So anyway, Michael, your thoughts are 2 cents.
Here's the way I see it, and I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but this is how I can see what they're doing. To put in the all the pieces are on the chessboard exactly how they should be right now. Our military has manuals for a zombie apocalypse. Now, before you freak out and start laughing, it doesn't mean corpses are coming back from the dead and going around eating people. Okay, it's code for civil unrest for people that are simply going to lose their mind over what they're doing, and they zap. They can't handle it because they know that we have people in positions that should be representing us, not leading us, not lording over top of us. We've never had presidents act as kings and lords. We've never had that. We didn't have senators act like they're princes and princesses and we have to bow down and kiss their ass. We've never had that. We've never had that. But these people sit up on those seats up there, enrich themselves by pushing us, into situations where we have to just eat it. Grab your spoon, shovel it in, and swallow, little bitch. The shit's gonna keep coming the same way it's been. You can't do anything about it. They're enriching themselves, and they're all part of this. They've all been part of this. I've been wanting to talk about this shit for so long, and now it's out there, I can talk about it. But they are putting you into a situation where black and white is no longer the thing anymore. The migrant thing, they pushed it. They pushed it. But see how fast they gave up on the bullshit? Now they're like, oh, we're not going to go into any states unless these Democratic states invite us in. What is that? Where's this strong arm of the law coming in there and representing the country, standing up for our borders? And you're the head honcho. You're supposed to be doing all this stuff. But now you're getting pussyfooted about it. Oh well, we're just going to backpedal a little bit. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Why does he do that? Why is he doing it? Because he wants people pissed off. Do something already. You see the memes all the time. Arrest somebody. They don't want to do it because they know eventually the people that don't want to get fucked with and just want to live their life are getting sick and fucking tired of watching nothing happen. And slowly but surely, that fire's burning. And the people that just don't act crazy, they don't do things out of character, they don't go out in the streets and do stupid shit. Then you're going to understand why the senators got satellite phones and they're trying to pass things where if the
Expanded
majority
budgets
of,
for their protection services last year,
uh-huh,
Michael. Right?
yep. And they said that we need to propose a bill where we can select our own replacements. If we lose a large degree of the senators all in one, some event, what event? What are they expecting? What are they expecting? And what side of the government's going to have that happen to them? The people that don't bend down and follow along. But if they get wiped out real quick, we're being circumvented. We don't have the choice in voting for them. They want the power to be able to do this and select their own people, their own cult members, their own blood and death cult members. They're all part of this stuff, folks. It's in music, it's in every facet. Everybody that makes lots and lots of money and has status, they have to go through this stuff. You have to be pushed through this. And if you're not, you don't get to play. They'll come up with some bullshit. They'll come up with some bullshit about how you did this. They all end up somehow pedophiles. Isn't that funny how they all end up pedophiles? Because that's how they get you. They put you in situations, they line your family up and say, look, you're going to do this or you're going to watch your family get wasted right now in front of you. And then you better do it because you're after them. You can't imagine the stress that they put these people through. I'm convinced not all of them get in that seat by choice. They're groomed at a young age and they're proposed that, hey, look, you're going to get in here, you're going to do this, we're going to put you up. It's all part of it. It's all part of a big grand scam. And the average person doesn't know it because it sounds too far-fetched. It's lunatic fringe. But when people talk about conspiracy theories, tell me what conspiracy theory exists anymore. Which one exists anymore? Because this is the kind of stuff, like aliens, they're fucking real. That's what they're telling you. Down in Florida, there's all kinds of shit floating around there. You got all kinds of footage of it. What is it? I don't know. I don't lick that stuff up and say, oh, it's aliens. But what are they doing? They're conditioning you. Yeah, you're getting bombarded left and right, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, crazy town level bullshit. And they want people to snap. They want people to snap. And if they see the effects of them simply just sitting still, doing nothing, going back on their promises, letting these people get away with it, they're protecting the names because they don't want the average person knowing that's the one that did that, that's the one that did that. You don't think in a society where there's a rule, without rule of law, when shit goes upside down and shit hits the fan, you don't think people aren't going to want to do something? They're going to want to do something. That's when it gets scary.
That's what I've been telling my wife, that this situation in the flagrant attitude that you're saying, Pam Bondi was just, that is just going to be, as long as we're able to see records going back, that'll be one for the history books right there, her performance up there. But it's the idea of how flagrant in previous administrations have gotten away with. You have your previous president, right? What did he do? Right, he pardoned his entire family,
Yeah,
pre-pardoned, right, members of acting government at the time, pre-pardon them, right, for future acts. Like, that's bananas.
yep.
But I was telling the wife the other day that this is going to cause people at some point, if they don't start seeing justice, they're going to want to do things to them, in their own hands. And you're seeing it. You're seeing,
And
whether
that's the
they're
plan.
actors or whether they're legitimate, vocalize their frustrations. And generally, I think they're persons above 40 that have witnessed a lot of this throughout history and are tired of it and are looking for action. And if they don't get action, they're going to want to take action. So I think it's setting up that type of mindset.
Oh, word? You see that much civil unrest, really? I mean, I appreciate
I
what you're saying. That seems a
no, I
little
just think that
more intense than
I
I
think
had seen it. But
I do think that I don't think that it's a multiplicity of folks that are going to want to take action, but I do think they're going to drive people to take action, right, and look for some sort of street vengeance, right? I just generally think that people are really going to get tired of seeing this occur. Now, I'm one of them. Not that I'm looking to go take action, but I'm like, I'm so mad. I'm like, dude, what are we going to do about this? You feel helpless, right? That is also part of the whole design, is that you aren't in control, and so it's all a mechanism by which to test people, right, to test the atmosphere and maybe have a causation behind it as well. I don't know, right? But I imagine many are tired of this, right? Especially in this conversation. Yeah, they're kind of done. So
Everybody
I don't
wants to
know.
see somebody step forward and start it. They want to say, like, somebody needs to do something. Somebody needs to do something. And they all know the first person that steps out there is getting whacked. They're going to be made an example of. So years ago, we used to have militias and stuff like that. Now people are afraid to have that stuff because they were infiltrated by the CIA, FBI, and they're just afraid. They're afraid to have it. And
They don't
here's
have any reason to do anything to fight for, Michael, right? There's no you're living a comfortable life. Even right now, I could say all these little things that are bothering me. Shit's fine here at the house, bro. Shit's
yeah,
fine.
you got
It's
food
nothing,
in the
I see
refrigerator. Yeah,
it's a great job, right? I could watch TV. Shit's fine,
yep.
right? Background, shit's burning down, bro. But the day is fine, right? So no one has any reason to go cause chaos. Well, I shouldn't say no one. I'm sure there's people out there, right? But it's just a point. The
Hmm.
broad mass doesn't have anything to fight for, right? As our history in history, right? They really had reasons to get off their ass and go fight. As a matter of fact, one of those comedians, I forget who it was, um, was making a joke about imagine how pissed you had to be to get off your couch, get your brothers, and go march 2,000 fucking miles and go fight some dudes in the north, right? Imagine how mad you had to be about
Yeah.
that. But they generally felt that there was something they had to fight for. So when life is so comfortable, you can access food and water. You're not worried about this, or that. You're not willing to literally put your life on the line. So Americans haven't have been confronted with that type of situation for well over 100 years or more, right?
They don't teach history. They don't teach real history. We went nuts and said, "Go fuck yourself, England." Over 1% tax. How much do you pay tax? How much tax are you paying right
Woo!
now?
We're
Two.
pretty fucking high. We're
Yeah, way
ten
more than I
percent.
ever
We've
want
always
to.
been up there. And
So
if
if
we're
we were
talking about
seeing
like
them go
local tax.
nuts, everything, just 1% is what they were like. No, we're not going to have that. And then they brought in fractional banking, and hey, look, we need to institute property tax because we have to pay for this, that, and the other thing. But when we get it all square, we'll do away with that. Income tax, we have to do it because this, that, and the other thing. But it won't be permanent. It keeps going up, keeps going up. Everything's going up. How much blood can you squeeze from a rock? It's designed to have people snap. So to answer the question that guy was saying, and this is my opinion, I'll backpedal and let you guys continue to talk because I want to hear y'all talk too. I think what they're doing is they're pushing the envelope on everybody, and they want a a breakdown. Something's going to snap. Somebody's going to start it off, and if they don't get it in time, I think what they're going to do is they're going to have false flags where it's our government doing it, and they want to invite other people to join in because it's going to be mob mentality. What's mob mentality? Look what happens in these cities when they're protesting. These paid people go there because they know it's going to invite people. They're like, you know what? I want to go down there too. I want to raise a little hell too. I'm pissed off. I want to get involved in this. You just join in. You just join in. It's mob mentality, and you just go nuts. You lose your whole sense of decency, and you become savages. And I think that what they're creating is that zombie apocalypse that is civil unrest, and then the hammer's dropped. All hell breaks loose. But if they can't rein it in, they just go underground and they release smallpox and all the other bullshit they got in the vials and waste everybody. And they come out 2 years, 2, 3 years later, and it's good. That's what I say.
So yeah, stabilizing the population, decreasing the population. How about that? That seems to be from the
There's too
global
many of
event.
us. There's too many of
Yeah.
us.
That
Too many
You,
opinions. Too
Kitt,
many diverse
you,
opinions.
you mentioned
Kitt, there's a
something.
drug that we give women. What is it called? Birth control.
Yeah.
You tell me why why is it called birth control, right? Why do they give it to them? Then for their cancer, prevention and all that other regulating the cycles. You can look at what it does to other females around the world to not take that drug. They're not dying off, right? It's
Right.
literally what the drug is called,
Yep.
I
right?
mean,
Control,
to
frankly,
to
if you want
to
to
your
go there.
point, and it was mentioned earlier, Michael. You asked the question almost rhetorically about eating more meat, and I looked it up, and almost of all antibiotics within sales within this country are sold to farmers and injected into our cattle
Yep.
pigs and poultry. So when you hear eat meat, eat meat, eat meat, typically that's where they're transferring a lot of the antibiotics and a lot of the medicated. Um, they're medicating these meats, and then you're eating the medicine is a way in which they're conveying these drugs, and they're doing it to the tune of 14.8 million pounds per year in the United States.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Kid, that's what exactly I was gonna come up here and talk about. Is I live in rural Indiana, and obviously I live around a bunch of farmers, and they do that same stuff. But not only that, but our grain and our beans are a lot more contaminated than people think too, and
That's an
that's the
excellent
main
point, right?
main source
And
of our food supply.
so,
They
corn,
not
soy,
only are they genetically modified, but they douse them in a bunch of insecticides and pesticides to
which
where
are riddled with glyphosate, right? And when we talk
yes,
about glyphosate, fluoride, and aluminum, you have to look at the amygdala and the other glands within your body that are actually damaged, and the pituitary, there are a few specific glandular processes that they have chosen to bombard our
The
system
pineal.
with. Yeah, the pineal gland. Yeah, thank you. What is the elements that are the most toxic to the pineal gland, which are you connecting with yourself, your higher self, your spirituality, your consciousness, literally the spirit connection to to your body, and you connecting to the ethereal energy that is outside of your physical being. They do their best to dampen that and hinder it from even working correctly. And they do it so much. Again, they're seeding clouds with aluminum, and they're masking it in the form of geoengineering. They're adding fluoride to water they have for years, and they're saying it's for your dental health. They are bombarding. Even the term organic isn't organic anymore. It's bullshit. I mean, you have to homestead, you have to look at farmstead, you have to be this idea of a collective consciousness in which we are talking about you locally need to collectively. And I'm very passionate about this. I can tell you this. And the folks that I hang with in my personal time are very passionate about agriculture, about restorative agriculture, about ways in which you can live off of the land. And I mean, I weekly go to a farm stand, literally living in Ohio, and I buy as raw milk. Uh, um, it's called ancestral meats, and they call it the ancestral meats because it's blending organ meats as well with the ground beef. So you want to incorporate more organ meats because they have a higher mineral content than typically just lean muscle, and you want to differentiate the meat and meat content that you're consuming due to, again, when we talk about actual carnivore and meat and the benefit of eating a high protein diet, then you want to break down the mathematics of that and see, the densities and minerals that and fats that are actually very good for your body, right? And then you can actually see where people can live and thrive on paleo ketogenic. That means maybe one steak, high quality meat fed that you're eating with a lot of butter, with salt. You're drinking water. You're drinking juice. You're having things that are coming from the ground and things that are coming from the earth. And you're not eating anything refined or processed. And when you do that, what you can do, and as you get older, again, Michael has talked about it on his spaces. I similarly, not only have I had the anecdotal and the experience of doing it as I've gotten older, I've also loved people who have had to go through this as well. So those of you who have what would it be, boomers, as parents, and you have 70s and 80s and 90-year-old folks that you love in your life, you've seen them probably go through a very similar process within their aging as well, right? I mean, an elimination style diet is very important. And the more you can get back to foods that aren't processed or made on machines that are coming from the earth, and then from actual living uh, animals that are butchered and killed, and hopefully not, force fed a lot of antibiotics, then you can be consuming hopefully a healthy, high protein, high fat diet with vegetables, and your glycemic level is definitely going to matter. But I mean, those of you who work out are going to process carbohydrates and sugars easier due to your activity level. So gluconesis versus ketogenesis is a physiological state in which your body is processing energy. I know this. I'm passionate about this because I've had very sick parents who have dealt with ailments, and it forced me actually into kind of having to really focus on health. And when you look at poisoning your parents through the allopathic medical sphere that we live in, allopathic means what? Allopathic is an isolate. Allopathic is isolating individual chemicals, molecules, and isolates in lieu of utilizing a integral, holistic, natural path. That is the opposite of allopathic. Allopathic is isolate, it's individualistic. And when you look at our current medical system, where and how even the pharmaceuticals are derived, they are derived from isolates. And you are isolating a very specific chronic condition and isolating where and how it performs. You are not looking at that condition within a symphony, within its integral holistic effect of where and how it would affect with itself, which is why the medical system does not study nutrition. If you studied nutrition, you could then look at blood quality, and you can look at where and how you can affect your own quality of blood, in turn affecting your overall health and therefore mental acuity and stress management, all through your own input. And that starts with breath, but then is going to come through the macro and the micronutrients that you're putting into your body and where and how they are prepared. You can actually eat really shitty food, but if it was made with love, you'd be shocked. Your body will absorb it because it was made with love.
I know some of you guys
Well,
listening to this might think like, what the hell has this got to do with anything? I want my cheeseburger. I want my large pepperoni pizza with everything on it. I'm making money. You guys don't know what the fuck you're talking about, blah, blah, blah. If you're young, you feel like you can do anything. You can eat anything you want. You can put things in your body that's not necessarily good for you, but it gives you an altered state, so you enjoy that moment of altered state. But eventually what happens is we get older and our body doesn't function the way it used to. And you're going to have a harder time focusing. My vision started having a major issue, and other things I did to myself, riding around on a motorcycle too fast and doing dumb stuff with it, hurt my back, and I had to take anti-inflammatory medicines that make me blow up. And prednisone is a terrible, terrible fucking drug. Now they give me it in eye drops now as a steroid to calm my eyelids down, because they call them they're like little like calcium deposits building up in the eyelid, and it's scratching my eyes. So when I just blink and look around, it's tearing up my eyeballs. So that's why I'm struggling sometimes to see certain things, and my annotations are sometimes a little off when I'm doing my charting. So I'm a little embarrassed because I know I'm going to make mistakes. And it's not because I'm senile, it's because my eyes are problematic now. You will eventually experience things like this that you've done to yourself over the years, eating poorly, your recreational habits that you're doing right now. You think they're healthy, you think they're okay. They're going to have all kinds of residual effects on your body. And I purged myself of everything. No sugar, no crazy like treats that I like to always like. I used to always have chocolate ice cream and cheesecake, and I don't have that anymore. I don't do those things anymore. I don't have sweets. I cut that completely out, and I did a complete purging of my entire dietary system. And after 90 days, I don't know why my heart rate at rested was 128, sometimes 130. I was sitting still. I wasn't trading. I wasn't risking any money. I'm just sitting there. And I'm all of a sudden like, why am I feeling my pulse hammering in the center of my back right now? Like, why am I feeling that? And I looked at my blood pressure. It's sky high. I'm losing my vision. It's going in and out. My eyeballs were fighting, focusing in and out. Like I would have clear vision in my left eye, and my right eye would go blurry, and then it would shift from my right eye to my left eye. I'd get ringing in my ears like crazy.
Oh, I get
Then I
ringing
had
in my ears.
episodes, yeah, and I had episodes of dizziness, and then I had a full blown, um, what's it called? I can't think of what it was now.
Mi-
What's it called? Vertigo.
Hey, Michael, what do you think of parasites? What do you think of people with getting like contracting parasites and not realizing that they have these parasites in their digestive
Parasites.
systems? Yeah. What
Yeah, I
what
think
what are your thoughts?
99%. I think 99% of people have it,
Yeah, I
especially if you're
agree.
eating fast food. If you're eating fast food, you're getting it. I mean, people aren't washing their hands. You don't know what they're getting as far as their food product brought into them. They're just not clean, and it's disgusting. You don't want to get on that subject,
Yeah,
man. It's
well,
disgusting.
no, it's disgusting, but I don't really love talking about it, but I really think what so many people, so many ailments are actually coming from parasites and
Oh yeah,
people who don't wash their meat, don't wash their fish, don't wash their poultry or undercook it, or they eat it and they don't realize that it's coming already contaminated. And then they're consuming these foods on the street or at restaurants or bringing it home from the grocery store and thinking that they're doing and preparing this with love, but little do they realize that they have and they're eating what are parasites that then live in their intestines, and the sugar that they crave and a lot of the cravings that they have for food and the crazy mood swings are actually coming from their digestive system, or coming from their gut, or coming from their bowels, and are coming
yeah.
from the form of parasites.
Hey, Michael,
That
may I
eventually
recommend
leads to a
a
disease.
natural remedy for inflammation? If you are struggling with a bunch of inflammation, if you make like a fruit smoothie in the morning, just throw a teaspoon of turmeric powder in there. Turmeric powder is actually very strong stuff, and it is really good. And it's actually
Yeah,
healed my grandmother a lot.
I appreciate that. I'm not the only issues I'm having right now is my eyelids and my vision. I have no inflammation at all going on in my body. My rested heart rate is 50 beats per minute. 110/60 blood pressure. I'm sleeping more than I've ever slept in my entire life. I have no stress. I have no
That's
nothing.
huge.
My back isn't hurting me. None of the back problems are there anymore. Like I have zero back problems now, and I'm trying to tell you these things so that way, if you've never purged your body and really took an approach to say, I'm going to cut out everything. I'm just going to eat simple foods. It sucks in the beginning, guys. It does. First 2 weeks, I was like, man, what the hell? I don't know if I can get through this. Like I was realizing how much I loved bread, and I wanted bread, man. I wanted bread. I can't even look at it now. I tried it over the holidays. I had one roll with dinner at Thanksgiving. Man, I couldn't sleep that night. My stomach was all messed up the next 2 days. I was like, okay, no more bread. Back to normal I was. High butter, high meat, broccoli, sweet potato. That's it. That's it. Broccoli and sweet potato, no fruit. Fruit will spike your sugar up like crazy. And I took that out. I don't have anything. Like if I have blueberries, I'll have 10 of them, but I have to have it. Like I've been up for 6 hours before I put that in my body. The first thing I put in my body is just simply eggs. I'll have turkey bacon, or I'll have something like a bowl of broccoli with a half a stick of butter, which sounds like what? That's a lot of butter. You have no idea, man.
Butter's
Like
great for
you're,
you. Yeah.
oh yeah, your colon, you need it. Like that's the only place you're going to get what your colon needs.
Your brain more than
Yeah,
anything, Michael, is what really
yeah.
thrives on those fats and the lipids that you can only get through consuming things like butter. I mean, when you look at brain and brain health and brain studies, again, my mother had that deficiency through dementia. They talk about how the importance of butter, right? I mean, it really is a thing. So it's hard to argue things that are also proven, right? So you're right.
By taking the inflammation down, though, I didn't have to take any of the prednisone anymore. And I started shrinking. Like everything, all the fluid in my body was just going away. I mean, it's like, what the hell? Like, this is like a miracle feeling. Like, this feels amazing. I wanted everybody to feel what I was feeling. I was telling my whole family, like, listen, just do it. It's crazy. Like, okay, you're weird. Just, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm going to have my Chick-fil-A and I'm going to have this. And I'm like, and they're always sick. Like, they're
Elimination
always
style
sick.
Chick-fil-A has so many. Do you realize Chick-fil-A has like 8 chemicals injected
Just
into
in a
its
six, yeah,
chicken?
yeah, it's crazy.
And you talk about MSG and monosodium glutamate and how that's utilized to make food more addicting. What they're putting in chicken today and why folks go through the long lines, it's ridiculous. It's really,
Yeah,
really crazy when you look at the
Instead of
chemicals.
Kitt, you probably saw that. Like instead of butter, they use coconut oil. I fucking just like lost my shit when I heard that. I was like,
yeah,
damn, y'all can't even give me like actually, you can't even give me like margarine on this
yeah,
now. You're giving me coconut oil. This is
Or how about at Whole Foods, they cook all of their foods in that what is it, canola oil. All of their food is
yeah.
processed with canola isn't
Liquid
even
death.
real. It's not even real.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
I'm with the
byproduct.
ghee. Got to get that ghee.
Yeah, no, ghee is legit. That's super good. I love the conversation. I know Wolf Tribe is big into healthy eats. I know Gordo is as well. But it really, really is important. The term and it's funny even talking about this. I used to own a cold pressed juice company. My father came to me. He was fat, sick, and nearly dead, and I literally bought hydraulic cold press machines, and I was buying organic produce and just produce by the truck full. And my father and I were making cold pressed juice and then selling it in Columbus. We were one of the first places to do it. And we'd make it and sell out. And it's funny because my dad would look at me and be like, I can't believe we sold out. These were like $8 bottles of juice, but they were like 5-6 pounds of cold pressed lettuce and apples and cucumbers and celery. And I mixed it with, orange and lemon and grapefruit and all of these different like apples, like I said, apples and cucumbers and celeries, all these different juice formulations that I concocted with my father, who passed. That was the crazy part. I lost my dad shortly after I started a juice company, but in drinking a lot of vegetables and in changing the biochemistry of his blood and going from being fat, sick, and nearly dead into being, someone that lost weight healthily and who felt really, really good. It was kind of awesome to see his final days with him feeling like $1 million.
yeah. Or I could tell you if you have brain fog, can't focus in charts, or if you're feeling a lot of the effects of the stress that you put yourself under when you're risking money, if you don't have the inflammation and you're getting really good sleep and you're getting good nutrition and you're not putting junk in your body, you're not stressing your heart to push out all this extra garbage that you put in there from processed foods, it's not as hard on you and your body, and in the way that you have to concentrate and manage your emotions and concerns, especially right now. Like it's very, very difficult with all the wild spike of just the morning session when it first starts opening out. Like today was a little weird. Like it was like almost like an economic report came out at the 9:30 open, and I didn't trust what I knew, and I said I was expecting, which is a run lower. I didn't want to take that short, and I know if I would have been inflamed like I was last year, I probably would have had even a harder time dealing with it. And if you ever had heart palpitations, it feels like your heart's like hammering. You keep doing that to yourself, even as a young person, you're tearing your body up. You don't realize it, but you are. And anything that you can do as a good health habit, a good life habit, it prolongs your life. It gives you quality of life. Your sex life will go off the charts too. Everything improves. Like everything improves. And since you're in the business trying to make money, you have to protect your brain. You have to protect your health. What good is it making millions of dollars if you're on chemicals and drugs just to keep you alive while living with symptoms that could probably have been avoided or removed if you live well?
Hey, Michael, I just want to say I really appreciate you coming in here and kind of giving us these lessons. It just reminds me of like your body's a temple and we got to take care of it.
Yeah.
And if we want to operate at the highest level, we need to do that. But I also wanted to thank you. I've recently, with all this satanic stuff going on, I recently tuned into the Baron Study YouTube channel you have. And I've always wrestled around with following Christ and Jesus. I've always struggled with like the question of what if we die and we just 6 feet under, like there really isn't no heaven or hell. But seeing all this satanic stuff coming out, it's like, okay, if Satan's real, then most definitely God's real because he created it. He
Yeah.
created Satan. So I just want to say thank you. And about 2 weeks ago, I was in church, and I just felt moved to get baptized. And
That's
I want to
awesome.
say thank you for that. And
That's awesome.
it was
Kudos, bro.
I went straight up to the pastor, like, well, after he was done, I said, hey, I want to get baptized. But the guy I've been listening to told me it needs to be in Jesus Christ's name.
there
He's like, I can do it.
you
And
go.
so, because it was in volume 2 of that study.
That's
So I gave my
awesome
life to
in a
Christ like
great
two
way.
weeks ago, and I just wanted to thank you and kind of share my testimony with you.
Thanks, man. I
And I'm
appreciate
wondering
that.
if you're going to be putting any more videos out on that channel.
My grandson coming into the world uh, forced me to put what I was working on hold. But if I can find an opportunity where they're going to say, we don't want you over here right now to see us, that will help me, and I'll get something out this Sunday. But if not, I don't know exactly what day, but by next weekend I will.
Can I recommend maybe we do a study on Job? I've recently been studying Job, and I really I resonate with him a lot. Or I
That
resonate with that chapter or the book.
sure, and there's a lot of things you can mine out of that.
What a great
Yeah.
request. That's really cool.
Hey,
Anyway,
Michael.
guys, I didn't want to come in here and like hijack. Like I just want to hang out like just like one of the
Wait.
guys.
No, dude. Yeah,
Hey,
we
Michael.
love it, bro. I love it. I
Can
totally
I?
catch the vibe. Yeah, I mean, Gordo jump
Yeah.
in, Mauricio jump in. I did those two next. Wolf Tribe jump in here. So Gordo, Mauricio, Wolf Tribe. We're just kicking, hanging out. It's
I
all
just want to
gravy,
add
baby.
to Michael. It must be a great feeling to hear a fellow student like Christian, coming on to the space and saying that he got baptized because of because of you. It brings tears to my eyes because it must be a special moment for you right now, and yeah, it
That's
is touching,
touching. That is very touching. I
and
agree, Gordo. That's a
yeah,
great way to
bro,
highlight that. You're
yeah.
making a very good point.
Can I say something? I just want I didn't want to go here with this. Like I didn't want to take the conversation here.
That's cool. Gordo's kind of
Yeah.
pulling it out of you. It's all good, brother.
This morning I was walking in the house and I have conversations with God just like I'm talking to all of you. Like I just start talking to him. And I said to him, I said, it feels sometimes like I'm out of place. Like, am I really supposed to be doing what I'm doing? There's a lot of times I could put something up every single day on that channel. They don't have to be 4 hour, 6 hour long things. But I just feel like it'll seem artificial to someone that isn't really acclimated to it. And I'm afraid I'll push them away. So I was basically thinking to myself, I didn't say it out loud, but I was thinking to myself, like, Lord, am I like reaching anybody? Like, am I really reaching anybody? Because I know the majority of you, you just, you're curious because you want to know more about me, the guy. You've seen enough about my stuff in teaching and trading and whatever, but you want to know the person, the guy. And this is that one little thing that I've shared. And it's just, maybe you're not interested in learning who God is and how to walk with him and invite him to do things in your life that's supernatural. And you can look back and say, there's no way that this couldn't have been done by anything else except for him giving it to me. But today I thought it. I didn't say it out loud. I thought about it. I was like, I really wish that I had somebody, just let me know that they're acting on it. Like they're acting on it. And the guy just literally comes on here and he says that to me. And it's like, that's awesome. Like that's awesome. That's how he operates. That's exactly how he operates. And I just want to thank you for it because it's to me, I would stop doing everything as ICT if more people did that and said, look, you've done enough with that. I want this. I would drop it in a heartbeat because I love doing that more than I love doing the trading stuff. And I know a lot of you don't want to hear that because you want to learn more from me because you're learning. But a lot of that stuff's already out there on my channel, man. And once you start making money, you're going to realize it doesn't make you happy. I have lots of money. I can do anything I want, go anywhere I want, buy anything I want, as many things as I want. I'm not going to run out of money. I don't need to do anything ever again. And none of that makes me happy. None of it makes me happy.
Michael, when I came out of that water, because I went up to the altar and I just told my pastor, I said, "Hey, I want to be baptized right now today," and I didn't even take my clothes off. I went in with my church clothes on and everything, and he baptized me right there. And the feeling coming out of that water was more liberating than any dollar ever made or any fair value gap that went to the equal lows or any of that stuff. So I can't be more thankful, and I just really appreciate you um, sharing those messages, because I would have honestly never went to church or found God without you. So I appreciate you. I'm getting a little emotional here, but thank you so
What
much.
a testimony,
Yeah,
buddy.
what an honor.
Yes.
Thank you so
What a
much for that.
testimony.
So I'm glad.
Thank you so
I'm just
much.
very thankful.
Oh, that's full of goosebumps, bro. I'm not gonna lose my shit, but that's that's so touching. Wow, I'm not trying to overtake that moment
Hey,
either just by
Michael.
talking.
One,
Wow.
Michael. I know you what you said right now, right? But you got to remember the promise you made. This is
I know.
this is the vehicle. Trading
I
is
know.
the vehicle to pick up the hitchhikers along the road on the journey. Okay.
Oh, high five, Gordo. And hey, that's awesome, Michael. You gotta fucking love
Yeah.
that. Oh my god. Oh, that's so beautiful. What a beautiful moment. We get to share this, guys. I'm sorry, I'm talkative over it. I feel like I shouldn't. That's
No,
special.
it's good
It's
because
great.
I'm.
Yeah.
If you didn't, I'd be getting really emotional, and I'm. You're helping me, so that's good. Like I'm glad.
Yeah, man, this is great. I mean, this is why we're here. This is why we do it. It's really good. I love 9:06. I like the time. Just want to add that. Wolf Tribe. I know he's looking forward to come in, but before Wolf Tribe, I had promised Mauricio. So we had Gordo, Mauricio, and Wolf Tribes coming up.
Good evening, guys. Good evening, Michael. Michael, just to add on what you were saying, and for example, Pax, it's very Catholic, and he prays the Rosary, and you have a big following. And obviously, I've seen people from all over the world, different religious, but at the end of the day, we know we have to respect the different religious, and I think that you do a very good job on that end. And I think that a lot of people not only respect you for all the work that you have given us to the community, but also on your beliefs, and the fact that someone such as Christian comes here and give that testimony, it's mind blowing. It's really mind blowing just hearing him, and I'm sure that there are many other people that have done that, because you're a great mentor, and and when people realize that your concepts are these real, and then they hear you on the personal side, also they ask themselves, if they haven't met our God, they probably ask themselves like, okay, I'm learning, from Michael. I respect him on his concepts, but I feel lonely after the week. And he has been talking about Jesus Christ, and he has been, give a chance and maybe open that door. And I'm sure that people have opened that door and have found what Jesus Christ can come, can give, to our lives. So that's very touching.
I agree.
Well, not only that, but I would have honestly, like, even I would have never really picked up the Bible. Even if I did pick up the Bible, I don't know where to start. So, I mean, I've always trusted you with learning your concepts, and you've taught me how to fish. So, I figured I would take a chance and check out your YouTube channel on the Buran Study. And one thing led to another, and I was in the Bible every night trying to following along with you. So, you're just such a great teacher, man, and your ideology that you can share about the Bible is just so organic, and it just resonated with me a lot. And next thing you know, I'm in church and I'm telling the pastor I want to get baptized, and now I feel better than I ever have, and I plan on going out in the world and passing the love on and making more disciples through your teaching. So
That's awesome.
it's pretty cool,
Can I give
man.
you
Like,
can I give you some suggestions going forward now that you took that big leap of faith?
yes, please, because I still feel lost.
It's normal to feel like that. I remember when I stepped up to turn my life over to him. I didn't know what I was doing. I was scared to death. I was trembling. Like I was literally trembling. But I knew I had to do it. I felt like I was being pushed to do it. And I just said, God, I don't know what's about to happen, but I feel like I'm being led to do this. So I'm just gonna go up there and tell the guy I'm ready because that's what I feel like you're telling me. So I'm gonna tell him. And fast forward that night, I got baptized in Jesus' name, got the Holy Ghost, spoke in tongues. Never understood what that was. Didn't understand what was happening to me. And you know, I tried reading the Bible. I tried doing it before that, and I couldn't. I got bored with it. I couldn't get past Genesis chapter 3. I just couldn't do it. talking snake. Come on now. It didn't make any sense to me. But then when I went back into it again, I started seeing things that were beyond the word. Like it was showing me something that was below the text. And then as I read a little bit more, I was like, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to read the Bible. I'm just going to sit down and read it through. It's only going to take about 60 hours. And if I was working as a manager at a company or whatever, I'd be doing about 60 hours anyway. So, just do it. So I sat down, I did the entire Bible. I listened to Alexander Scorby as I read it. So it helped me hear it and I visually read it. So I was able to retain it easier. My wife was away at a country music festival with her family down in, I think it was Kentucky or Tennessee, one of the two, for a whole week. So I just spent the rest of the week just pouring into it. And once I got done, I'm walking around the house. I'm thinking, yeah, I read the Bible. Like one time. Now, one time I've read it. Fast forward about a month later, I go in, I'm starting to read John. I'm reading Joshua. And all of a sudden, as I'm reading, verses are jumping in my head. Like this, that. And like, there's a connection happening. Now, I've only read the Bible once. And I'm like, why am I able to do this? Like, why am I able to see that? And then I started looking at other things that other people put out, and I found, like Chuck Missler. And his approach to looking at the Bible was like it's a integrated message system from outside time domain. And I was like, you know what? If there's a God, that would be just like him. Like he can write something that never runs out of potency. Whereas I write something or you write something, it's what it is, and then you're done with it. You're not going to get anything more from it what you got the first time. But you mentioned a really good book like Job. Job teaches an amazing depth of how we are supposed to live our life and what limitations are placed on Satan and what benefits do we have. And we're going to have trials and tribulations in this world, but we're not going to go through the great tribulation. Like we're not going to have to do that. And I discovered by just like how you were talking to me just now and how I'm talking to you, talk to God the same way. Don't be afraid to talk to him like that. You don't have to get down on your knees and prostrate yourself and do all that. There's nothing wrong with worshiping God like that. That's not what I'm saying. But when you talk to him, talk to him. Let him know what you're fearful of. That's the first thing you have to unload on him. Say, look, Lord, I'm afraid that if other people see me try to get closer to you, they're going to mock me, make fun of me. And I don't want to have that feeling. I don't want to feel embarrassed because of my faith or my attention that I'm placing on you. Like, I don't want to have that. So encourage me in that regard and give me more faith because he's the author and finisher of our faith. And by having an open dialogue with him every day, let him be the first person you talk to and let him be the last person you talk to. Whether you're married, girlfriend, kids, whatever, he's the first person I talk to in the morning when I wake up. If I nap, he's the first person I talk to when I wake up. He's the last person I talk to before I go to sleep. I can't tell you how many times he has done something that's supernatural that literally, like I could write books the rest of my life with the things he's shown me, taught me, like crazy stuff, like crazy stuff. And you all see me do stuff with these little candles and talk about what it's going to do and stop there. That's nothing. That's nothing. Like to hear him say this is what it is, and then I say it to someone, and then it happens, and like, how'd you know that? It ain't me. It's an uncle. But that didn't happen right away. I walked with him. I trusted him. I told him, I said, look, this is how I believe in you. This is how I love you, God. This is how I love you. I love you. I could care less what anybody thinks about me. And when I worship you, I want people to see me loving you, not because I want them to think that I'm pious and religious, because I'm not, but I want them to know that I love you without limit. I love you ferociously, fearlessly. I could care less what anybody thinks about me because I want them to know one thing about me. I love you. I adore you. I worship you. I place you above everything and anyone in my life. There's nothing greater than you. And without you, I have nothing. And if you take everything I have, I'm still rich because I have you. And as long as you're with me, Father, I don't have to worry about anything. And when you walk in that every single day and you live that, he will show up and show off in your life every single day. He loves that moment when you can't hold your smile back and you just want to praise him. Like, I didn't expect you to do that today, Father. Thank you so much. Thank you so much that you've poured out this much favor on me today. Thank you that you provided this, which I didn't know I needed right now. But hey, you made this just happened to be in my grasp. And now I can provide that for my family. You made a way for me to do this certain thing that my wife was worried about. I wasn't worried about, but now she gets to see like, wow, look what God did. Yeah, how about that? How about that? And she gets to brag on God. And then she talks to her friends and her little circle club. And then she's like, God, you're bragging on God. And what does he do? He inhabits the praise. That's what the word says. God inhabits the praise. People go to church all the time, man. They walk in miserable, they leave miserable. You don't need